last May, not the one just gone last year, I do village halls back home. And I was doing a village hall in a place called Butterleigh, which is near the town of Columpton, which is just off the M5 in Devon. And it's a lovely warm May evening, most unusual, gorgeous weather, and so hot that the organiser, Liz Williams, she opened the windows at half time, which is a good idea, let a bit of fresh air in. Halfway through my second set, a bat flew in. And our bats aren't as big as the bats you have over here that I saw in Brisbane. They're about the size of my hand. This little bat, and just like this, just going round and round and round. Well, you know, my act fell apart, basically, and we had to wait. But the next month, people often say to me, Rob, somebody did the interview, you need to write a poem about this. I say, no, you write the poem. And so, but I woke up with this tune in my head, and I thought, oh, yeah. And it's called The Maid of Amsterdam, which may not mean anything to you, but when I sing the chorus, you'll probably know it. Because the chorus goes, a roving, since roving's been my ruin. Go no more a roving with you, fair maid. So forget those words. I've changed all those words. So it goes now. I'll sing a line, you sing a line back to me. It flew in, it flew in, it flew in, it flew in. That bat has been my ruin. That bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. On an evening in May. And the second line of every verse is a refrain. So it goes, mark well what I do say. Mark well what I do say. This is called the Bat of Butterleigh. In Butterleigh there lived a bat, mark well what I do say. In Butterleigh there lived a bat, it wasn't daft, I'm sure of that. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. It flew in, that bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. It flew around, mark well what I do say. It flew around, that bat, it didn't make a sound. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. It flew in, that bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. Liz Williams turned out all the lights, mark well what I do say. Liz Williams turned out all the lights, that bat and I were in full flight. It must have had an awful fright on that evening in May. It flew in, that bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. I carried on in spite of that, mark well what I do say. I carried on in spite of that, but you try competing with a bat. It wouldn't go and stole the show on an evening in May. It flew in, that bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. I floundered on in spite of that, mark well what I do say. I floundered on though it was weird, but eventually it disappeared. And everyone was happy, and Liz turned the lights back on. It flew in, that bat has been my ruin. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. So batty, that mammal spree in Butterleigh. It flew in through a window on an evening in May. Well sung, everybody, well done.